Investigators say they are closer to solving the mystery of who murdered a federal prosecutor more than 16 years ago. But they need the public's help. Assistant U.S. Attorney Tom Wales was shot and killed in his Washington state home in 2001. Officials believe there are people who know critical information that could help solve the case. They increased the reward money to more than $1.5 million. Tony Dokoupil is following the investigation. Tony, good morning.
Good morning. And what an investigation it is. Tom Wales was targeted, some say, because of his job. And if that is true, he would be the first and only U.S. attorney killed in the line of duty. The case has never gone cold, and the new reward may be a sign that investigators believe they're getting closer to the truth.
On a chilly October night in 2001, Tom Wales was home sitting in his basement office when a gunman shot multiple rounds through the window. Wales was an 18-year veteran of the U.S. Attorney's Office in Seattle.
The killer was familiar with Tom's property and his work habits.
The shooter was careful to avoid setting off floodlights attached to the yard's motion detectors, leading investigators to believe it was a carefully planned execution. More than 16 years later, the killer is still at large, and the case was recently the subject of a 5-part podcast.
They say it was the perfect murder, but I'm not buying it.
Investigators aren't buying it either. They came together Wednesday in a Seattle conference room named for the fallen U.S. attorney, asking the public to help solve the case.
We have a lot of investigative theories right now. We have several that we're very fond of, and we need more information.
I think they have people identified that they think are the perpetrators.
John McKay took over as the U.S. attorney in Seattle shortly after Wales was killed.
They're waiting for someone in their circles to come forward and give them maybe the last couple of pieces that will push them over the finish line.
The reward for information in the case has been raised from up to $1 million to more than $1.5 million after previous leads failed. Early on, investigators identified a suspect, a commercial airline pilot who denied any involvement and was never charged. Through bullet casings, they say they identified the weapon, but they apparently never found it. Wales's daughter suggests her father's duties as a prosecutor might have played a role in his murder.
If a federal prosecutor can be brutally murdered for carrying out his prosecutorial duties, the law enforcement and judicial processes that keep all of us safe are fundamentally compromised.
An indication of how committed Wales's former colleagues are in solving this case. They are among those who opened their wallets to increase the reward by more than $500 million. And another indication is that the FBI has generated more than 2,000 sub-files on this case, each one an individual line of inquiry.
It's important to solve it.
Yeah.
It's important to solve it. Thank you, Tony.
Thank you very much, Tony.